Want to know if you can layer light underglaze over dark underglaze? Then this video's for you. Hi, Marie here from Pottery Crafters. In this video, I'm going to see if you can successfully apply light glaze over dark glaze. So I'm going to try different ways and see if it can be done. All the supplies used in this video are listed for you below in the show notes. I'll be testing 6 pieces of pottery to see which method works the best. First, I'll start with 2 spoon rests. On one, I'll apply underglaze at the greenware stage before bisque firing. On the other, I'll bisque fire first, then apply the underglaze. Next, I'll apply underglaze to 2 jewelry dishes. I'll bisque fire only one of them again after applying the underglaze to compare the difference in coverage. Finally, I'll test 4 light underglaze colors on 2 tumblers. One tumbler will have black underglaze applied and be bisque fired again before adding the light colors to see how or if the extra firing affects the results. For the base, I'm using Spectrum black underglaze. I'll start with applying 1 coat of the black underglaze to this bone-dry spoon rest. This underglaze has the normal consistency of underglaze. It's not too thin and not too thick. And get the sides, let it dry. I'm going to apply 1 coat of underglaze to the foot of the spoon rest. I might as well do 2 experiments at once. I always put watered down underglaze on the bottom. This time I'm going to put 1 coat of underglaze that's not watered down. And I want to see if it sticks to my cookie. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that you put a cookie underneath, because if the color transfers, you don't want it to transfer onto the kiln shelf. Let this dry and apply another coat of black underglaze onto the spoon rest. Let it dry and apply a 3rd coat of black underglaze just on the top of the spoon rest. Let this dry. While the spoon rest is still in the greenware stage, I'm going to apply Spectrum white underglaze to the bottom just to see how it turns out. Let this dry. Now apply a 2nd coat of the white underglaze. Let it dry. Apply a 3rd coat of the white underglaze. I'm interested to see if it will be translucent or opaque. Let it dry. And now apply a 4th coat. Let it dry. Now I'm going to bisque fire to cone 04. Let's see how it turned out. No underglaze transferred onto the cookie, and the white did cover over the black. Now I'm going to apply the black underglaze to a bisqued spoon rest. I only want 1 coat on the bottom. If the underglaze is too thick on the bottom, it could stick to your cookie or kiln shelf. Just to see if there's any difference to applying the underglaze to greenware or bisqueware. Let it dry. Apply a 2nd coat to the spoon rest. Just the top is fine. Now I'll let this dry. Apply a 3rd coat of the black underglaze. Again, just to the top of the spoon rest. Now I'll set this aside and let it dry. This is the spoon rest that I bisque fired with the black underglaze. Using the Spectrum white underglaze, I'm going to do the sponge technique to the spoon rest. If you're interested in doing the sponge technique, I actually have several videos on it. I left the links for you below in the show notes. Now I'm going to do the sponge technique to the other spoon rest, the one that I just applied the underglaze to. Let's see if there's a difference to doing this with the underglaze that has been bisque fired and the underglaze that I just applied to the bisqueware. Let it dry. Now apply 1 coat of clear with the black underglaze that was bisque fired first. Now apply one coat of clear to the bottom, one more coat on the bottom, and another coat on the top of the spoon rest. Now for the next spoon rest that I bisque fired and then applied the black underglaze to, I'm just going to put clear glaze on the top of the spoon rest. Then I want to see how the bottom that I sponged turned out without any glaze on it. Let this dry and apply one more coat of clear on the top. I've been told many times that you can't apply light glaze on top of dark glaze. So let's see how they turned out. Well, the two spoon rests turned out pretty good. And the white underglaze is translucent and opaque. It's opaque where I applied it a bit thicker and gave it a marble effect. The underglaze did stick a little bit on the cookie after I fired it to cone 5. And the underglaze wasn't watered down. So now I know I'll be continuing to water down my underglaze when I apply it to the bottom. Now when I applied the white underglaze on the greenware and bisque fired it, it was a little more opaque. After I applied the clear glaze, it turned out a little more translucent. So that's something to keep in mind. And the underglaze stuck a little bit to the cookie also after firing to cone 5. Now, as you noticed, the underglaze did not stick to the cookie when I bisque fired it to cone 04. So the higher temperature makes the frit in the underglaze melt more. Now this is interesting. I didn't apply any clear glaze to the bottom where I sponged it, and the white showed more. It's a little more translucent with the clear glaze. It does have a nice matte finish to it, as long as you don't need it to be food safe. But I really love the spoon rests, and I noticed that they turned out similar. So it didn't matter that the black underglaze was applied to the greenware and bisque fired, and the black underglaze on this spoon rest was just applied after it was bisque fired, and then the sponge effect on both of them turned out the same. I love the marble effect. I'll definitely be doing this technique again. Now I'm going to experiment with 2 jewelry dishes and show you the different ways that I'm going to layer them and see the results. I'm going to apply the black underglaze to this dish. Make sure I get into all of the cracks and crevices. After I applied the first coat, I'm going to let it dry and apply a second coat of underglaze. Then I'm going to apply the white underglaze in the middle to make a flower. Let this dry and apply another coat. Put a little yellow underglaze in the middle. Let it dry and apply a third coat. And some more yellow underglaze in the middle. Let it dry and apply a fourth coat. Now apply a fifth coat. I want it to be thick enough to see if the black will show through it all. Let it dry. I'll now apply one coat of white underglaze on the raised pattern after I bisque fire it again to cone 04, just to see if it makes a difference if you bisque fire it again after applying the underglaze. I want to try all different ways that you can apply the underglaze to see which way would work the best. Now that I have all the raised lines covered, I'm going to apply 1 coat of watered down black underglaze. Then just 1 brush of the white to see how that turns out after I bisque fire it. Once it's bisque fired, you can see at cone 04 temperature, it did not transfer any of the coloring onto the cookie. Plus it was bisque fired and not glazed fired at a higher temperature. As you can see, the black underglaze is darker also. Now the white is translucent from just 1 coat, but in the middle where I did 5 coats, it seems pretty opaque. But I can still see a little bit of black through the flower. Now I'm going to apply more underglaze to the jewelry dish and see if that makes a difference. Another coat on the lines. I have a video on 21 basic underglaze tips. I left the link for you below in the show notes. Apply another coat on the flower. That looks good. Apply a 3rd coat on the lines. You can hit the like button anytime during this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever a new video comes out. And 1 more coat on the flower. And let's see if this makes a difference. For the bottom of this jewelry dish, I'm going to apply some brush strokes with this fan brush. Now I'm going to apply the black underglaze to a bisqued jewelry dish, but I'm not going to bisque fire it again. I'm going to apply 1 coat of the black underglaze, not watered down, another coat of black underglaze inside the jewelry dish only. I'm going to do the split cup technique and see how that turns out. Move it around. Now this glaze is a little watered down also, to keep that in mind. Now I'm going to do the splatter effect on the bottom of the jewelry dish. It has 1 coat of underglaze that was not watered down, but the splatter effect, the blue underglaze, has been watered down. And see if I applied the underglaze too thick on the bottom. And to see if you can see the black through the blue. After it dries, apply 1 thin coat of clear glaze to the inside of the jewelry dish only. I'm not going to do the bottom. Let this dry and apply 1 more clear coat on the inside only. And do the same with the other jewelry dish. 1 thin clear coat. Let it dry and 1 more thin clear coat of glaze. Fire it in the kiln at cone 5 and see how they turned out. A little bit of blue came off onto the cookie because the underglaze was a little thicker, which makes sense. And just a touch of white came off onto the cookie. But they turned out pretty good. The fan technique turned out well, and the splatter effect turned out really nice too. So now you know that you can use these 2 techniques and they'll turn out pretty good, but without clear glaze. Now with the clear glaze, my split cup technique didn't turn out very well at all. It kind of just mushed together, but it's still okay. And it did turn out a bit more translucent, not opaque. And the same with my flower jewelry dish. I really thought that the flower would be opaque because of all of the coats that I applied to it. and it didn't seem to matter when I applied the underglaze, which is important to know. Now I'm going to experiment with 2 tumblers and 4 different colors of light underglaze and see how they turn out. Apply 1 coat of the black underglaze to this tumbler, let it dry, and apply another coat of black underglaze to the tumbler. This one I'm going to bisque fire again before applying the light colors to see if it makes a difference when I apply the light glaze to it. As you can see, the black underglaze is darker, fired at cone 04. For the second tumbler, I'll apply 1 coat of black underglaze. This tumbler has been bisqued. Then I'll let it dry. Apply a second coat of black underglaze. For this tumbler, I'm not going to re-bisque it. I want to see if there's a difference with the light underglazes from the tumbler that's been refired and this tumbler that I won't refire. Let it dry. I'll start with applying the yellow underglaze to the first tumbler that I bisque fired after I underglazed it. Apply 2 layers of the yellow underglaze to 3 sections on the tumbler. Now the second tumbler that I applied the black underglaze to and didn't re-bisque fire it. Apply 2 layers of the yellow underglaze to all 3 sections also. Let it dry. Apply a 3rd layer of underglaze to the second and third sections of the first tumbler. Then apply a 3rd layer to the second and third sections of the second tumbler. Let them dry. Apply a 4th layer on the first tumbler in the 3rd section, and a 4th layer in the 3rd section on the second tumbler. Now I'm going to use lime green underglaze. Apply 2 layers of the green in all 3 sections on the first tumbler, and 2 layers of the green in all 3 sections of the second tumbler. Let it dry. Apply a 3rd layer in the second and third sections on the first tumbler. Then the same for the second tumbler in the second and third sections. Let it dry. Then a 4th layer of the green in the 3rd section on the first tumbler, and a 4th layer of green on the second tumbler. Now I'm going to use white. 2 layers of white in all 3 sections on the first tumbler, and 2 layers of white in all 3 sections on the second tumbler. Let it dry. Apply a 3rd layer in the second and third section of the first tumbler, and apply a 3rd layer of white to the second and third sections to the second tumbler. Let it dry. Then a 4th layer in the 3rd section on the first tumbler and on the second tumbler. Now I'm going to try the sky blue for the 4th underglaze. 2 layers of blue in all 3 sections on the first tumbler. I want to make sure I have a good coverage of the underglaze. And 2 layers of blue in all 3 sections on the second tumbler. Let it dry. Apply a 3rd layer in the second and third section on the first tumbler. Apply a 3rd layer in the second and third section of the second tumbler. Let it dry. Apply a 4th coat of the blue in the 3rd section of the first tumbler, and apply a 4th coat of blue in the 3rd section of the second tumbler, and let it dry. Now I'm going to apply 2 coats of clear glaze only on the top of each tumbler to see how it turns out with or without the clear glaze, if there's any difference at all. Now I'm going to fire them to cone 5 and see how they turned out. Now these 2 tumblers are interesting. I was actually surprised by the results. 2 coats, 3 coats, and 4 coats on the first tumbler, all translucent, and I thought it would make a bigger difference with the different layers. And where I applied the clear glaze, the underglaze turned out more translucent, which is interesting. Do you see a difference in the tumblers with the black underglaze that was applied and re-bisqued, or the underglaze that was just applied and not re-bisqued? The tumbler that I didn't bisque fire the black underglaze looks like it's less translucent. And it is good to know that the lighter underglaze is not as translucent when you don't apply clear glaze to it. Now with the blue, similar results. I really thought there would be a difference in the layering, 2, 3, and 4 layers of the underglaze. So it's good to know that you don't have to apply the dark underglaze and then bisque it and then apply the light underglaze. There you have it. The question answered. Can you apply light underglaze to dark underglaze? Yes, you can. I found that the areas where the underglaze was thicker and opaque had tiny little bubbles in them. So that's something to be aware of. You can't put too many layers of light underglaze on the dark underglaze. And I was a bit surprised by this experiment. I really thought that the underglaze would be a bit more opaque than it turned out. But now we know. So when you'd like to layer light underglaze over dark underglaze, this would be the video for you to refer to. So then you'll know what you can do and what the outcome may be. With that said, you watching helps me to make more videos like this one. Now head on over to my 21 underglaze tips video or my 21 glaze tips video. If you do, I get to play with more clay. Let's stay dirty